Welcome all in class 14 on electromagnetic theory. So in this class we will discuss about the magnitude and direction of generated magnetic field due to current in infinite small conductor. Finally, we will calculate the magnitude of magnetic field due to current in conductor of infinite length. So it is basically Biot-Savart law which deals with magnetic field generated by an infinite small current element. In order to understand the statement of Biot-Savart law, let us suppose we have a conductor of infinite length and there flows current I into this conductor. Whenever there flows current I into the conductor, it generates a magnetic field. Our aim is to find the magnitude of magnetic field generated by this current in the conductor. So it is Biot-Savart law which provides us a relation for the magnetic field produced due to an infinite small current element. So out of this conductor, let us suppose we consider a very small element of the conductor whose length is dl, and this length dl is very small. So definitely current that flows into this conductor of infinite small length is I. So as per Biot-Savart law, the magnitude of magnetic field generated at point x, that is at the observation point, is dependent on the magnitude of the current, and it is also dependent upon the distance between current element, that is IDL, and the observation point. So here in this case, let us suppose the radial distance between current element IDL and observation point x is r, and unit vector along the radial distance r is r cap. Definitely the radial distance means the minimum distance between current element and the observation point. Let us suppose the radial line r makes angle theta with the direction of IDL, that is, it is basically the angle theta between radial line r and the axis of the conductor. So as per the Biot-Savart law, the small magnetic field dB due to current element dl is given by mu naught upon 4 pi IDL cross r cap divided by r square, where r cap is the unit vector along the direction of radial distance. So here mu naught is a constant called permeability of the medium, and for free space its value is 4 pi into 10 raised to power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. Now from this equation we can conclude that the magnitude, that magnetic field is having magnitude as well as direction. The magnitude is proportional to mu naught upon 4 pi IDL sine theta upon r square, where theta was the angle between radial line r and axis of the conductor, and the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to current element IDL and unit vector r, and the direction can also be found by using right hand thumb rule. So as per the right hand thumb rule, if the forefinger points in the direction of current element means in the direction of IDL, the middle finger points in the direction of radial vector, then thumb will indicate the direction of generated magnetic field. From these equations and from this law, it is clear that if the direction of current is reversed, then the direction of generated magnetic field will also be reversed. That is the magnetic field generated by a current element is having direction as well as magnitude, and the direction of magnetic field is dependent on the direction of current in the conductor. Now Biot-Savart law gives the magnetic field only due to a small current element, that is conductor of very short length. However, we have a conductor may be of finite length or infinite length. In order to calculate the magnetic field due to the whole conductor, we need to integrate the magnetic field due to small element for the entire line. So total magnetic flux or total magnetic field can be obtained by integrating dB, that is by integrating mu naught upon 4 pi IDL sin theta upon r square for the whole line. So next we will calculate the magnetic field due to current flowing in an infinite length conductor. So let us suppose we have a conductor whose length is infinite. The current that flows into the conductor is I. We have to find magnetic field at point P due to current flowing into the conductor. The observation point where we have to calculate magnetic field, that is point P, is at radial distance capital X from the line or from the conductor. Radial distance means this is the minimum distance between line and observation point P. So in order to calculate magnetic field at point P, we need to use Biot-Savart law. However, Biot-Savart law gives the magnetic field at the observation point only due to a small current element. So in order to find magnetic field at point P, we need to consider a small element of length dl. We will find magnetic field due to this small element at point P, and then we will integrate this small magnetic field over the entire length so as to calculate the total magnetic field at point P. Let us suppose at any instant we are supposing that this is the current element dl that we are considering, and let us suppose at any time it is at distance small l from the reference point. Again, let us suppose r is the radial distance between the small current element dl and point P, and let us suppose the radial line r makes angle theta with the axis of the conductor. So as it becomes a right triangle, so we can conclude that the radial distance r at any time is equal to root of x square plus small l square. So as per Boyd-Savart law, the magnetic field at point P, that is small magnetic field at point P, due to infinite small conductor of length dl is given by mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. Now we need to integrate this equation in order to find total magnetic field due to this conductor, and here the length of the conductor is infinite. So as we need to integrate this equation, so here we have three variables. The three variables are dl sin theta and r square, because the length dl is also variable. Its location, for example, here we are considering that the small differential element is at location small l. Now the location may also vary, it may be at some another distance. So when we will vary its location, so the radial distance r will vary. So this equation is having three variables. So in order to ease the integration, we want that in spite of three variables, we should have only one variable. So let us suppose we want to express the variables, three variables dl, theta and r in terms of only one variable theta. So in order to represent these three variables into single variable, we are redrawing the small differential element as shown in the slide. So this was the small differential element of length dl, and what we are doing here is we are connecting the upper end of the infinite small element as well as lower end of the infinite small element with the observation point P. So if the line, that is upper line, which connects the upper end of the small element with the observation point P makes angle theta with the axis of the conductor, then definitely the lower line which connects lower end of the conductor with the observation point P will make angle theta plus d theta, or d theta or theta minus d theta with the axis of the conductor. Now this value of d theta, that is change in angle with the axis of the conductor, is dependent upon the length of the line dl. Now if we make dl to be equal to 0, that is these two ends coincides, then definitely these two lines will also coincide, and in that case d theta will become equal to 0. That is, when length dl of infinite small current element is 0, then d theta will also be 0. However, if we go on increasing the length dl, then d theta will also be goes on increasing. So next let us suppose consider the geometry that we are redrawing. That is, I am taking this geometry, and from this geometry now we can see that we have two right triangles. One right triangle is KSP and another right triangle is OSP. Now in this right triangle, angle KSP, which was the radial line connecting line conductor with the observation point, so this angle is 90 degree. We have already assumed that upper end makes angle theta with the radial line and lower end makes angle theta plus d theta with the axis of the conductor. So from these two triangles we can conclude that, as we know that the algebraic sum of all the angles in a triangle is 180 degree. So definitely we can calculate the angle OPS, which is 180 degree minus 90 plus theta plus d theta. Similarly, we can calculate that angle KPS is equal to 180 degree minus 90 plus theta. So from these expressions, mathematical expressions, we can calculate then the angle between two lines, that is angle KPO, will also be equal to d theta. So if length DL is equal to 0, then angle d theta is 0. However, if we go on increasing this DL, then for infinite line d theta will vary from 0 to 180 degree. That is, infinite line can be mapped in terms of d theta. That is, for infinite line d theta will vary from 0 degree to 180 degree. Now what I am doing is I am dropping a perpendicular from lower end of infinite small element on the upper line. So when I drop perpendicular, it means the angle KMO is 90 degree. So from here we can conclude that the length KM of the upper line is equal to the length OP plus KM. So by using these mathematical relations, we can also find that the length DE, which was the length of perpendicular from point O on the upper line M, can also be assumed to be equal to r d theta, because these two lengths are almost same and these are exactly r. If we consider P as the center of a circle having arc of length DE, then arc length DE is equated to r d theta. Similarly, from the triangle OKM with angle KMO to be equal to 90 degree and angle OKM to be equal to theta degree, we can also equate that DE by DL is equal to sine of theta, and from these two equations we can put that DL sine of theta is equal to r d theta. That is, basically we have made a relation between DL and r. So the magnetic field as per Boyd-Savart law, which was mu naught upon 4 pi IDL sin theta upon r square, can now be represented as mu naught upon 4 pi I r d theta by r square, or we obtain that dB is mu naught upon 4 pi I d theta upon r, and the magnetic field due to the entire line can be obtained by integrating the magnetic field due to small differential element dl. So total magnetic field is obtained by integrating this equation, and for an conductor of infinite length, the value of d theta, as we discussed earlier, will vary from 0 to pi. So total magnetic field can be obtained by using integration of 0 to 2 pi mu naught upon 4 pi I d theta upon r. We also know that from this triangle that the relation between x and r is x is equal to r sine of theta. So because x is a constant quantity, so we are just putting x over here, and we obtain that the total flux is 0 to pi mu naught upon 4 pi I sine theta d theta upon a constant x. So we can put all these things outside the integration, and after integrating it we obtain that the total magnetic flux or total magnetic field due to an conductor of infinite length is mu naught I upon 2 pi x, where I is the current flowing into the conductor and capital X is the radial distance of observation point from the conductor. So this is all that we want to discuss in today's class. Thank you.